From hosts and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, a Maine state trooper is injured after a driver fell asleep at the wheel and hit him from behind.
Plus, a man was arrested after he allegedly blocked traffic and repeatedly hit another man with a head with a hammer.
And Castine is finally starting to come back after the winter storms that battered the area. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. We'll have all the day's news coming up. But first, a check of that important forecast as we head towards the weekend. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a bit on the wet side. Some areas of the state could see quite a bit of rain today. Others just scattered showers from time to time. And then we'll deal with that this weekend, too.
I know everybody's itching to get out on the lake and go do summertime activities, June activities, but it seems like we'll need a breather this weekend.
Good weekend to maybe work inside around the house or whatever.
Yep. Here's Devin Biggs with that forecast.
All righty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Areas of dense fog greeting us this morning are parts of Bangor to Bar Harbor, even across parts of Washington County this morning. Looks like Millinocket dealing with some fog as well, even across the western parts of the state. I haven't noticed any advisories yet this morning, but please be careful as you do travel with the fog. We do have showers developing across the western parts of the state this morning, tracking from the west to the east, and we'll be watching for on and off showers as the day progresses on with this area low pressure here that continues to track off towards the east. So we'll have more rounds of showers tracking throughout the daytime period today. So there's the showers right there. We hold on to those pretty much all day long, and a few more on the way tonight. Then some showers and even some thunderstorms possible as we head towards your Saturday. As for the winds, though, not looking too bad, roughly at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. The winds will start to calm down later on tonight, but then they start to pick up again as we head towards the daytime tomorrow. So for today, here we go. We have middle 60s, mostly cloudy showers on the way, and that east wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy showers and fog on the way, lows in the middle 50s with the wind overall looking nice and calm. All right, an hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, mostly cloudy with showers on the way, temperatures overall in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll check in with you a little later on. A Maine State Police trooper has been injured following a crash on Interstate 95. Around 11 p.m. on Wednesday, Corporal Garrett Booth was traveling northbound on I-95 in Sydney when his cruiser was rear-ended at a high rate of speed. A state police spokesperson says 34-year-old Kishana Tavares of San Diego, California, fell asleep behind the wheel, causing her foot to press on the accelerator of her Kia Optima. Booth sustained an arm injury and was taken to Maine General Medical Center in Augusta for evaluation. He has since been released. Tavares was not injured. She was issued a citation for failing to maintain control of her motor vehicle. The crash remains under investigation.
Well, meanwhile, a man from northern Maine was killed Thursday following a collision with a UTV and a tractor-trailer truck. Police say 63-year-old Robert Chambers of Fort Fairfield was traveling along the shoulder of Route 1A when he suddenly pulled onto the roadway to reach a nearby trail. He ended up pulling into the path of a loaded semi-truck and was killed in the crash. The driver of the truck was not injured. The roadway was shut down for about 3 hours yesterday while police investigated that crash scene.
An Orrington man has been arrested in connection with an alleged attack that reportedly involved a hammer. Around 11 p.m. on Wednesday, Brewer police received a call about an assault on South Main Street. When officers arrived, they found a victim with serious injuries to his head. Brewer police say during the investigation, they determined 29-year-old Nicholas Ireland had allegedly blocked the roadway with his vehicle and approached the victim with a hammer and a firearm. They say an altercation followed and the victim was struck multiple times with a hammer. Police say Ireland allegedly left the scene with property that belonged to the victim. Ireland was later arrested in Bangor. He's charged with elevated aggravated assault, criminal threatening, and robbery. Police say Ireland was known to the victim and the attack was not random.
Well, Maine drug enforcement agents arrested 3 people at an apartment in Bangor yesterday. Maine drug agents, Bangor police, and members of the U.S. DEA executed a search warrant at 54 Charles Street. The search was the result of a months-long investigation, which included undercover purchases of fentanyl. Authorities seized more than 200 grams of crack cocaine, over 140 grams of fentanyl, and more than $11,000 in suspected drug proceeds. They also found a .40 caliber handgun. The estimated street value of the drugs seized is $45,000. Police arrested 31-year-old Shaquem Harris of New York, 52-year-old Winona Lola of Bangor, and 43-year-old Roger Brown of Bangor. Each has been charged with aggravated drug trafficking and are expected to make their first court appearances today.
A New Hampshire man is facing drug charges after he was caught traveling with illegal drugs in Maine. The Maine Drug Enforcement Agency says it received a tip that a shipment of drugs was being driven from Massachusetts to Aroostook County. Authorities stopped a vehicle driven by 34-year-old Timothy Pinkham as it traveled through Sherman. A search of the vehicle turned up almost 4 pounds of methamphetamine and over 3.5 grams of fentanyl. He's now facing drug trafficking charges and driving without a license. Police say the street value of the meth is over $150,000.
Now, police have discovered another large illegal marijuana growing operation. Just before 10 a.m. yesterday, the Kennebec County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant on the Pond Road in Manchester after being tipped off by neighbors who smelled marijuana. More than 1,000 plants were seized at that home. The Sheriff's Office also conducted a search about an hour later at a residence on Sheldon Street in Farmingdale for another suspected growing operation. No plants were seized from that home, but police say there was evidence that a large amount of marijuana had recently been harvested there. No one has been arrested in connection to either of those search warrants at this time.
On Tuesday, President Biden unveiled sweeping reforms to the U.S. southern border asylum policy and immigration. Advocates across the country, including here in Maine, are speaking out. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bichard has the story.
But if an individual chooses not to use our legal pathways, if they choose to come without permission and against the law, they'll be restricted from receiving asylum and staying in the United States.
After months of negotiations with Republicans on legislation to secure the southern U.S. border fell through, President Biden issued an executive order on Tuesday capping asylum claims for those in the country illegally at around 2,500 per day. This has local advocates here in Maine concerned.
His latest attack on asylum seekers is extremist, it's deadly, and it is wholly illogical on a policy level.
This policy was illegal when President Trump tried it, and it is still illegal now that President Biden has tried it.
The Immigrant Legal Advocacy Project Maine is a Portland-based outreach group helping low-income immigrants improve their legal status. Lisa Parisio says Biden's new executive order won't prevent people from crossing the border illegally. It will only make their journey harder.
We know without question that effectively shutting down the border and denying people their right to seek asylum under U.S. law does not actually stop them from needing or seeking safety and security. It only forces them to take more dangerous, more deadly journeys to reach U.S. soil, or it leaves them trapped in harm's way, stranded in Mexico, waiting for a chance to exercise their rights.
The American Civil Liberties Union said on Tuesday that they plan to sue the Biden administration for implementing the policy, which is similar to one the organization already successfully overturned in the courts under President Trump. For Megan Sway, the policy director of ACLU Maine, she says despite our relative distance to the southern border, impacts will still be felt this far north.
I think here in Maine, it just prolongs people's agony, people who want to work, who want to provide for their families. And because of archaic laws around when asylum seekers can find work, who can pursue asylum, those sorts of things, it just it puts more financial strain on our state, but it also has a real human cost to the people here who are trying to create a new life after escaping unimaginable harms in their home countries.
In Augusta, I'm Corey Bichard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Thursday was the last day to request your absentee ballot for the June 11th primaries. Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, Maine's top election official, says it's not too late to return your absentee ballot if you already requested it.
You can return your absentee ballot in the mail, via absentee ballot drop box, or you can drop it off in person back at the clerk's office. Finally, if there is a special circumstance, say something terrible happens this weekend and you end up hospitalized, or someone you love ends up in a special circumstance, we do have special circumstances for absentee ballot.
Bellows adds, if you spoiled your ballot by spilling something on it, you can also still request a new one at your municipal clerk's office.
Did you do that?
I've done things like that before. Get a little food on it or something,
Right.
you know?
It's hard not to.
So just wipe it off.
Yeah, that seems very you.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the town of Castine has been working overtime to repair all the damage caused by the winter storms. We'll have a look at how far the town has come.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. A cloudy day ahead today with a chance of showers. Highs around 65 degrees. Western northern Maine getting the most rain today. Mostly cloudy with showers overnight. Lows in the mid-50s. Tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms with highs near 70. We'll be right back.
A year after a heart attack, Mike's feeling like himself again. But even though time has passed, his risk of a second attack hasn't. Mike is still living in the red, with a very high risk of another heart attack or stroke. He doesn't know with his risk factors, his LDL-C, bad cholesterol, is still too high. The recommended level is below 55. Are you living in the red? Get in the know. Learn how to get a free LDL-C test at attackheartdisease.com.
When Electrify Maine wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Electrify Maine provides outstanding electrical services to eastern and central Maine. They are a licensed Generac dealer specializing in generator and heat pump installs. Call today for a free estimate.
Febreze. Hi, I use Febreze Fade Defy plug.
And I use this.
Febreze has a microchip to control scent release, so it smells first day fresh for 50 days.
50 days?
And its refill reminder light means I'll never miss a day of freshness. Febreze plug.
Angler's Restaurant with 2 locations in Newport and Searsport. Open daily from 11 to 8. We are your home for fresh seafood. Our specialty is scallops, lobster, fish and chips, and of course, lobster rolls. Now, if seafood is not your preference, we offer fan favorites like cheeseburgers and chicken tenders. Stop by for the atmosphere and stay for the incredible dining experience. Anglers, Maine's family seafood restaurant.
I have a new show at Fox. It is called Quiz with Balls. Families could win lots of cash, and they could make a splash. Big old balls, big old balls, big old balls, big old balls, big old balls.
The Quiz with Balls, all new Tuesdays on Fox and watch anytime on Hulu.
A 2021 Maine law prohibits schools from receiving public funding if they discriminate based on gender identity, sexual orientation, or religion. A federal judge ruled that law does not violate the Constitution, following a legal challenge by Crosspoint Church, which operates Bangor Christian schools. Crosspoint filed a 3-count complaint in March of last year, arguing the law violates the free exercise, establishment, and free speech clauses in the United States Constitution. Earlier this year, the court denied Crosspoint's motion for a preliminary injunction in the case. The final judgment was handed down on Thursday. According to a report by Maine Public, lawyers representing Bangor Christian schools have already indicated plans to appeal the decision.
Well, meanwhile, Senator Angus King is co-sponsoring a piece of legislation that could help students in public schools get more mental health support. Representatives from King's office say that 15% of Maine children between the ages of 6 and 11 are diagnosed with an emotional or developmental condition. The Elementary and Secondary School Counseling Act, which King is co-sponsoring, would establish funding for more mental health providers in schools. The act would help them to employ multiple providers, including counselors, psychologists, and social workers. Representatives from King's office say that schools who employ mental health providers see improved attendance and achievements with lower dropout, suspension, and expulsion rates.
It's been nearly 6 months since the winter storms that wreaked havoc across the coast of Maine. Now the town of Castine is finally putting the finishing touches on their repairs after the town dock and area businesses sustained significant damages. Our Grace Blanchard shares more.
As you see driving around Castine, it's the focal point of the town.
During the January 10th and 13th storms,
Castine experienced major destruction and flooding along its town dock.
The town dock here was destroyed, and our Acadia dock, which is what is on my back right corner or back right shoulder, that was also damaged.
According to Castine's town manager, they've added extra storm drainage and have rebuilt the dock in a way that'll make it more resilient to future storms.
The entirety of our dock is almost one piece. We've through-bolted all of the supporting timbers and all the supporting joists. We've through-bolted them, so our dock is actually one piece all the way from the pilings through the planking.
Some area businesses are also gearing up to reopen after the damage has delayed their season.
I want everyone to be able to, come down here. I miss it. It's so empty, and it breaks my heart because, this is in June, never been like this.
According to the manager of the Safe Harbor Cafe that sits along the dockside, they lost thousands of dollars worth of product and equipment.
Inside was 3 feet of water. All the equipment was lost.
Cooper says she was unsure if they would be reopening, but after receiving support from the community, she hopes to be up and running in a couple weeks.
That's what this town does. We all support each other, always.
Town officials say the area has been deemed safe and is expected to be fully cleaned up within the next week. In Castine, Grace Blanchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, industry leaders from around the state put their heads together to think about the future of infrastructure in Maine during a return of an annual event. Our David Ledford brings us a closer look.
It's really a gathering of people that are involved in the built infrastructure.
The 11th annual Build Maine conference returned to downtown Skowhegan for the 3rd year this week.
The annual event brings together experts in development, housing, and transportation to discuss the issues impacting Maine and think about how to solve those issues in the future.
There are some huge issues facing our state that we all know about: housing availability, but also cost.
There's a variety of different initiatives here that talk about how to use different spaces and how to reuse your streetscapes, how to different options on housing, different options on how to develop. There's really a whole menu of approaches to doing reuse or redevelopment.
Thursday's session featured workshops and presentations on how to prepare for population growth in the state. Because organizers say people are expected to flock to Maine to escape issues posed by climate change in other states.
As people think about the climate and where they want to live in the future, and think about fires and floods and things of that nature, Maine becomes a really exciting place to look at for people to want to move to, and we've seen that since the pandemic. So if we're planning ahead, we'll be ahead of the game here.
And those who took part in the conference say supporting that growth over time means expanding Maine's infrastructure.
Things that are happening here are really crucial to helping both small towns and large cities continue to be able to move forward.
To learn more about the annual event, visit buildmaine.com. In Skowhegan, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Conferences like that are really the stuff that help bring positive change to the area. Good stuff. All right, the time now is 8:18. After the break, a very good dog has recently completed her training in order to be a service dog to a local veteran.
It's a really beautiful dog, too. Wait till you see her. Plus, it's All-Star Monster Truck Weekend at Speedway 95. We'll hear everything you need to know if you plan to attend, coming up on Good Morning Maine.
When it comes to automotive and heavy equipment repair, trust the experts at CTI Service Center, located in Old Town and Milford. CTI offers heavy-duty part sales at our Old Town location, as well as on-the-road service with our heavy-duty mobile units. CTI also offers tire sales, including mount and spin balance, as well as Old Town's only heavy-duty alignment system. CTI Service Center diagnoses issues swiftly and accurately. For reliable service and peace of mind, give us a call or visit us online at ctiservicecenter.com. CTI Service Center, simply the best.
Oh, another morning to savor the crunchy nooks and cranny splendor of a Thomas's English muffin.
Tom, which is a nook and which is a cranny?
That's a nook, cranny, 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 nook, cranny. I mean, they should be teaching you this in school. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
There's a way to cut your dishwashing time by 50%. Try Dawn Power Wash Dish Spray. It removes 99% of grease and grime in half the time. It cleans so well, you can replace multiple cleaning products. Try Dawn Power Wash.
Dine on the deck with a delicious view at the Lucerne Inn and Ryan's Pub. Experience outdoor dining at its finest. Open Tuesday through Sunday with award-winning dishes from their executive chef, Arturo Montes. Dining on the deck at Ryan's Pub is an unforgettable culinary experience you'll want to share with your family and friends. We are pet-friendly, so your furry friends are always welcome to join you at your table. Your next visit to the Lucerne Inn will feel like the first, all over again.
Since Champion the Cure Challenge started in 2010, almost 24,000 participants have shown their support for cancer care. Together, we have raised over $7 million, with all funds staying local to support patient care and clinical research. The challenge has provided for food insecurity, hair preservation, upgrades to technology, the installation of a new linear accelerator, and the number of trials available to our patients has tripled since 2010. Let's continue to make a difference.
Thanks to a partnership of local organizations, a fully trained service dog is ready to find a forever home with a veteran. Our Doug Banks takes us to Holden to meet Magnolia Grace.
Meet Magnolia Grace, affectionately nicknamed Mags. She's a 1-year-old Bernese Mountain Dog who's ready to find a forever home.
She's a perfect candidate for someone that needs that love.
Years ago, a connection was formed when the family dogs of Joe and Jody Bracelet were trained by Maine Refined Canines Devin Corson, a professional dog trainer. And when a litter arrived last May, Bracelet's children wanted to donate one of the puppies to a veteran as a service dog.
We called Devin and he said yes instantly.
When they reached out, it was definitely a warm feeling of knowing that I get the help.
He jumped on board, was more than happy and gracious enough to donate all of his time and resources for this project.
After a year of advanced obedience training under Corson's guidance, applications are now available for a life-changing opportunity. Home Roofing Solutions and Maine Refined Canine have partnered with the Bracelets nonprofit, the Merino Project, and Maine Veterans Project. The partnership will see Mags go home with a veteran within an hour radius of Bangor who faces physical or mental health challenges. Applications are available from now through July 6th.
When we find the right owner for her, it's going to feel great. I'll say if Devin was asked that, he would agree, but I think he's going to be a little heartbroken.
It's going to be really sad when she leaves because I've trained this dog since birth and she's been with me. And her love is just out of this world.
To learn more, or if you'd like to help Magnolia Grace's journey towards finding her forever home, visit themerinoproject.org. In Holden, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, Doug even cracked a smile. You don't see him smile that much in his stand-ups.
He's very serious usually.
Yes,
but
yeah, he spent the day with a puppy, so he had to.
Yeah, what a nice thing Devin and everybody else involved are doing, though. You can tell that they just love the dog, too.
Yep.
And they're going to give it to somebody who will also love it.
Such a great gift to the community.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, the time now is 8:22.
Let's get a full look at our weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Down East Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. The local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Alrighty, here we go. Wave heights are a little bit active out there, depending on where you're at this morning. We have 3-foot wave heights just offshore, maybe a little bit lower, further off towards the north and east from the buoys, and further down to the south, wave heights are at around 7 feet this morning. On land, here we go. Bangor to Bar Harbor, reduced visibilities. Even Millinocket noticing that this morning. Washington County is reduced, so if you're driving this morning, definitely take it slow. Allow extra time as needed with the areas of dense fog that has been developing. We also have clouds and we also have showers tracking in from the west and going toward the east. So we're going to keep that going throughout the daytime period today with more showers possible overnight tonight and possibly tomorrow as well. With this energy here tracking from the southwest and going to the north and east, so we'll be watching that as it does track ever so slowly to the north and east. So future moving forward, we have the showers for today, and even later on tonight, notice the clouds and the showers will be holding on. Even for your Saturday, here we go, scattered showers, even some thunderstorms will be expected, not only for Saturday morning, but possibly a little bit more as we head towards the afternoon period, so be watchful for that. Then once we head towards Saturday night, there's some rain showers sticking around, but it looks like we start to catch a little bit of a break as we head towards early Sunday morning. As for the rainfall, I'm going to run this through the next few days, so we will have a good amount of rainfall on the way between now and Tuesday, maybe another inch to 2 inches of rain possible in some areas areas before we're all finished up between now and Tuesday, so it will be spread out as we do move forward in time. Average high temperature is 72 degrees. We'll do middle 60s for us today, lower 70s Saturday, Sunday, also into Monday. We're back in the mid 70s for you Tuesday, then upper 70s again Wednesday, and also into your Thursday. Let's talk about the dew points. Those have been up at least recently. We can feel it out there with dew points in the lower 60s today and tomorrow. But once we get towards Sunday and beyond, dew points will be a little bit more comfortable. So for today, middle 60s, mostly cloudy, showers out there, and that east wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy, some showers and fog on the way. Lows in the middle 50s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms on the way, highest in the lower 70s, and a southwest wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. All righty, let's check out that extended forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth. More showers and thunderstorms on Sunday with highs in the low 70s. Low 70s again for your Monday with a chance for showers, and more showers and thunderstorms Tuesday. We remain wet with highs in the mid 70s.
A mystery.
Jessie loves playing detective.
But the real mystery was your irritated skin. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. It cleans better and doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
And it's gentle on her skin.
Tide Free and Gentle Liquid is EPA Safer Choice certified.
It's got to be Tide.
Introducing Ned's Plaque Psoriasis.
Ned, what are you wearing?
He thinks his flaky red patches are all people see.
Otezla is the #1 prescribed pill to treat plaque psoriasis.
Dad?
Otezla can help you get clearer skin and reduce itching and flaking, with no routine blood tests required. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for over a decade. Otezla is also approved to treat psoriatic arthritis. Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can happen. Otezla may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Some people taking Otezla have depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur.
With clear skin, movie night is a groovy night. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, chances are you have a lot of questions. Norm Prouty has answers. Learn some tips and tricks and explore some beautiful new homes on the market. The Norm Prouty and Donnell Baker Real Estate Show, Sunday mornings at 8:30 on Fox 22.
Hey Red Sox fans, you've got to play You Pick 'em Red Sox at foxbangor.com. Local weekly winners receive prizes from Chase's Family Restaurant and Hideaway Lounge or from Chick-fil-A. Register now at foxbangor.com. You Pick 'em Red Sox is sponsored by Blind Faith Tattoo, Bangor, K&M Auto, Holden, Old Town Redemption Center, and Twin City Tile Brewer.
Accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann has been charged with the murders of 2 more women. He had already been charged in the killings of 4 others. One of those first 4 apparent victims being Megan Waterman, who was 22 years old when she was last seen on June 6th of 2010. She was a resident of Scarborough, here in Maine. Prosecutors say new evidence has come to light since the Long Island architect was first accused. After another search of Heuermann's home, investigators say they also found what they're calling a blueprint for his crimes. An all-caps computer document allegedly had checklists of tasks to complete before and after killings. Prosecutors say one was a reminder to, quote, remove head and hands. Heuermann, a husband and father, pleaded not guilty and is being held without bond.
Well, now to the newly released video of a shootout between police and a suspect in a crowded grocery store. What authorities are now saying about that confrontation. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
This morning, dramatic new video shows officers involved in a shootout inside a busy grocery store in Ohio.
You can just only imagine what this may have turned into, and we're very fortunate the end result that we have today.
In the video, police officers are seen responding to a Kroger outside Cincinnati last week. An officer can be seen firing at 42-year-old Joseph Van Nieman, who points a gun towards officers. Prosecutors say moments earlier, Van Nieman ignored officers' orders to stop after they allegedly saw him take part in a drug deal, then walk across the Kroger parking lot. Van Nieman taking cover in the store's entrance, repeatedly stepping out and engaging in a shootout with officers as customers duck for cover. Authorities say an undercover officer then made his way into the store from a different entrance, forcing Van Nieman to run. That's when officers shot him. Prosecutors calling it justified, adding the officers involved will not face charges.
Everyone else's instinct is to run for their lives. These officers ran in the direction of danger to save others.
Andrew Dimber, ABC News, New York.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conducted a new assessment of the IDF's campaigns across the Gaza Strip. This comes as Israel continues facing international pushback for the number of civilian casualties in its war against Hamas, with the Gaza Health Ministry reporting more than 37,000 people have been killed since October 7th. Critics blasting Israel's decision to strike a UN school serving as a shelter for Palestinians on Thursday. The operation killing more than 30 people. Israeli officials say the facility was doubling as a Hamas compound. This as the IDF escalates its missions inside the southern city of Rafah. The ongoing conflict could mean a ceasefire deal that would free the remaining hostages may not be finalized anytime soon. And coming up on the second half of the newscast, this week's Destination Devon will tell us all about the Great Maine Lumberjack Show and its owner, Timber Tuna.
That story and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million. If you get hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
This Saturday, it's Super Saturday on Fox.
Here we go. Buckle up.
It all starts across the pond where fastballs fly in London as the Phillies clash with the Mets. Then, the Belmont Stakes, for the first time ever, is live from Saratoga.
Here's the wire!
And New York City lights up with an epic rivalry as the Dodgers battle the Yankees. The biggest day of the season is Super Saturday on Fox.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Friday, June 7th, 2024. It's also National Donut Day.
This is a day to celebrate and savor our favorite fried dough confection. This holiday can be traced back to Salvation Army's involvement in World War I, when volunteers provided meals to the troops on the front lines. They determined that donuts could be cooked up under the most dire circumstances, and even used war helmets to fry up 7 donuts at a time. The volunteers became known as the Donut Lassies. National Donut Day was established in 1938 as a way to honor the Salvation Army members that came to the aid of all the soldiers. And if you were to tell me that they were literally in the trenches serving up donuts to like ease the tension for soldiers that were literally also in the trenches, I would not believe you.
Hot, fresh donuts.
Crazy.
If you search National Donut Day, too, on Google or whatever, you'll find a Smithsonian article about this. And if you go into that article, you'll see the recipe they used to cook up those very donuts.
Wow.
So you can recreate them yourselves.
Yeah. What a cool way to remember history and to honor them as well.
Pretty neat. A lot of the donut places like Dunkin', they're giving away a free donut to people stopping by today, too. So, all right, time for some more history. On this day in history, back in 1776, Richard Henry Lee of Virginia proposed to the Continental Congress a resolution calling for a Declaration of Independence. Things got pretty interesting with England after that. In 1864, Republican delegates nominated Abraham Lincoln for his second term as president. His running mate at the time was Andrew Johnson. In 1965, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a Connecticut law banning contraceptives. And in 1967, Israeli troops captured Jerusalem during the Six-Day War. Finally, one more here. In 1975, the first video cassette recorder, the VCR, went on sale to the general public. It was like magic. You could then watch movies in your home.
I know. I can't really appreciate how we haven't always had a recording device.
Yeah, it's always been, before that, you had to wait until the next week to see your next show.
No,
this way you could record your favorite show, watch it when you got home. It just changed everything.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it did. And in 1998, 3 white supremacists killed James Byrd Jr. in Jasper, Texas, by dragging him for 3 miles behind a pickup truck. They were later convicted of murder and inspired the Texas hate crime law, along with new federal laws as well. In 2000, a judge ordered the breakup of Microsoft. The order came after the company broke antitrust laws with browser markets and the PC operating system. I don't believe it was in our show this hour, but it was in the 6 a.m. They are also getting, you know, antitrust interest these days due to how they're using, not ChatGPT, that's a different company, but how they're operating with AI.
With AI, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, history repeats itself. Look at today's midpoint with Israel, all these things. I mean,
yeah, the
going
6
on
Day
for decades.
War, and yep. Senator, also in 2008, Senator Hillary Clinton of New York dropped out of the presidential race and threw her support behind Senator Barack Obama, who would go on, of course, to win the presidency.
Another little piece of history that's going to happen today. I think today is the day Pat Sajak is retiring from Wheel of Fortune.
Really?
I believe today is his last day, so people will be tuning in tonight to watch that.
Who's replacing him?
What's his name? That DJ guy that does the countdown now.
The DJ?
Yeah, well, what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Oh, okay.
He does like the New Year's Eve countdown. Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest.
There
Yeah,
we go. Yeah. Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
He's going to take over for, that's Keenan, by the way. And by the way, Keenan brought in donuts today for National Donut Day.
Yeah,
So
I think he knew that.
we love Keenan for that.
Yeah.
All right, we have some birthdays today, too. Birthdays including actor Liam Neeson, who is 72. Rapper Iggy Azalea is 34. And former President George W. Bush is 77. I guess there's a bunch of other big birthdays today.
Yeah, Keenan
that
was
I
mad
missed.
at you about that.
I know. Who was it? John Cena was
He was
one?
like,
No.
Michael Cera, Bill Hader, Carl Urban, Prince. Yeah, yep.
Sorry, I blew it. Bill Hader was on the Saturday Night Live, right?
Right.
He's a funny dude.
I know
so.
our mics aren't picking up Keenan, so it's a little chaotic in here this morning. But
we wish everybody a happy birthday.
Yes.
So
yes,
we got everybody covered now.
Everybody, happy birthday. Right. Okay, let's switch gears and throw it over to not Devin Dagnall. He's not our weatherman. Devin Biggs.
The other Devin.
Is
So
our
many Devins
meteorologist.
these days.
I know.
Here's your forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. Your local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Areas of dense fog greeting us this morning are parts of Bangor to Bar Harbor, even across parts of Washington County this morning. Looks like Millinocket dealing with some fog as well, even across the western parts of the state. I haven't noticed any advisories yet this morning, but please be careful as you do travel with the fog. We do have showers developing across the western parts of the state this morning, tracking from the west to the east, and we'll be watching for on and off showers as the day progresses on with this area low pressure here that continues to track off towards the east. So we'll have more rounds of showers tracking throughout the daytime period today. So there's the showers right there. We hold on to those pretty much all day long, and a few more on the way tonight. Then some showers and even some thunderstorms possible as we head towards your Saturday. As for the winds, though, not looking too bad. Roughly at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. The winds will start to calm down later on tonight, but then they start to pick up again as we head towards the daytime tomorrow. So for today, here we go. We have middle 60s, mostly cloudy showers on the way, and that east wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy showers and fog on the way, lows in the middle 50s with the wind overall looking nice and calm. All right, an hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, mostly cloudy with showers on the way. Temperatures overall in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, Maine's logging industry has a long history that stretches all the way back to the early 1600s.
And for nearly 3 decades, a woman in Trenton has been drawing crowds to the more competitive side of the industry. Our Devin Dagnall is in with the latest Destination Devin to tell us more.
It's an hour and 15 minutes of non-stop fun and action. Competitors ready. We do underhand chopping, cross-cut sawing, power sawing, speed climbing, axe sawing, log rolling, and more.
Tina Shear, aka Timber Tina, is the creator and owner of Timber Tina's Great Maine Lumberjack Show, and she's a Paul Bunyan truther.
Oh my gosh, my family at home, they're all like, no, and I'm like, always, yes, he's from Maine.
Originally hailing from Wisconsin, Tina is quite the timber sports aficionado. She got her start with log rolling at the age of just 8 years old and performed with her family for 15 years in the Shear's Lumberjack Show before making it out on her own.
I picked Maine because it reminds me of home. of course, Acadia National Park and all the tourists that visit our area. And this is where Paul Bunyan's from, and that's where I wanted to go too. Go!
Now in its 29th season, the Great Maine Lumberjack Show is as good as ever, featuring young lumberjacks and Jills looking to fine-tune their timber sport skills during the off-season of their collegiate teams. According to Tina's performers, there's never been a better time than right now to check out the show for yourself.
It's growing in Europe, really big right now, and it's going to be the next big sport, I think.
Well, Tina actually grew the sport a lot, and it's grown a lot over the years. Like, more women have participated.
Starting Father's Day weekend, Timber Tina's Great Maine Lumberjack Show will have shows every night until the end of August. For more information, check out the story on our website, foxbangor.com. In Trenton, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a neat place, huh?
Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't watched the show in years. Of course, they have new folks all the time, but I think it's time I go check it out again.
Yeah, be a great time.
Yep. All right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have the latest with the Celtics. Plus, we'll have a live interview with the folks from Penobscot Theater Company.
All right, we'll look forward to that right after the break. Don't go away.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home, so skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Hood is the cottage cheese lovers love. Start with our award-winning country style. It's delicious on its own, or like this. That. Even, sure. Plus, it's got more protein than hummus and less sugar than yogurt. Then there's Hood's flavors. We expertly blend in real fruit or savory herbs for an unbeatable taste combination you can't recreate at home. Now that's cottage cheese. Hood cottage cheese. Always good, always Hood.
You can't leave without cuddles, but you also can't leave covered in hair. With Bounce Pet, you can cuddle and brush that hair off. Bounce, it's the sheep.
When Electrify Maine wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Electrify Maine provides outstanding electrical services to eastern and central Maine. They are a licensed Generac dealer specializing in generator and heat pump installs. Call today for a free estimate.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
This summer,
I'm sweating.
the competition is heating up.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less.
Every weekday
on Fox 22.
.76 wins down and just 4 to go. Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. The Celtics and the Mavericks squaring off in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. It all comes down to this. And the quest for Banner 18 is down to the last series. Game 1 at TD Garden. First quarter, Jason Tatum with it loses the dribble, and the Mavericks are off and running. Kyrie Irving finds Luka Doncic to PJ Washington. He gets inside and finishes with the slam. Mavs up early, but the Celtics would flip a switch. Welcome back, Kristaps Porzingis. Tough mid-range jumper goes for him. Boston is up 10. Tatum now, he is going to get it inside. Nice move in the paint and slams it home with two hands. Celtics running away with it in the first half. And how about the return of Porzingis? Drains a contested three. He had 18 in the first half. Mavs would get within 8, but the Celtics would fire back. Holiday finds Tatum, can't hit, but Al Horford finishes the job. Celtics go on to win 107-89. The championship hunt also continuing for our high school athletes. Let's check out a couple of playoff baseball games on the docket from this afternoon, beginning at the classic Mansfield Stadium.
A great day for baseball. 5-seed Oxford Hills visiting number 4 Bangor. Top of the first, Oxford Hills' Carter Holbrook with a pop fly in foul territory. Ethan Sproul, look at the play from second base, tracking it down, makes a sweet basket catch for the out. Looks easy, that is not easy. Bottom first, Bangor's Kyle Johnson, a well-hit ball into left. That is going to score Jack Shook. The RBI double makes it 1-0. Bottom of the second, Oxford's Brady Truman gave up a one-out single, but strikes out the next 2 batters to retire the side. To the bottom of the third now. Sproul at the plate for Bangor. A grounder through the hole and into left. Scotty Sakabason scores, and then Johnson slides in right behind him, makes it 3-0. Bangor goes on to win it. Your final is 6-2. Now let's head to Bucksport for a Class C North quarterfinal between 5-seed Mattanochcook and the 4-seed Bucks. Hot start for Bradley Dill on the mound for the Lynx. He strikes out 2 of the 3 batters in the first to retire the side. Bottom of the second, Bucksport's Connor Fitch at the plate with a base hit into left field. That's going to score Gavin Holyoke easily from third base, and Jason Terrell follows right behind him. 2-0 Bucks. Later, 3-0 Bucks. Nick Clare skies one into center field. Owen Harper makes the play, but Fitch tags and scores from third base. That makes it 4-0. 2 batters later, Gunther Sear at the plate with a runner on third, lays down a beautiful bunt down the line. They can't make the play. Aidan McGuire scores on the squeeze. 5-0 Bucks. They go on to win 9-0. All right, let's stay in town for a C North softball quarterfinal. 8-seed Central and top-seeded Bucksport going at it. Bottom 3, Bucks up 7. Jetta Shook hits one into left center. Nice piece of hitting there. That's going to get all the way to the wall. Marina Keene and Sam Sear score. It is 9-0. Later, Olivia Shute hits a hard one, but a nice stop by the pitcher, Ailey Speck. She throws to first for the out to end the inning. Top of the fourth now, runner on third for Central, but Natalie Simpson sits the next 2 batters down. 11 Ks and a no-hitter for Simpson. Finally, Keene at bat, and she is going to nail a base hit. Lakin Varnum crosses home. That makes it 10-0 Bucksport. That is the final. All right, and for some other scores from around the area in baseball, Ellsworth beats Herman 6-2. Stearns over Bangor Christian 13-2. Skowhegan beats Camden Hills 7-6. That's a good one. And Foxcroft over Orono 6-2. They'll play Bucksport. In softball, Nokomis beats Oceanside 12-2. Penobscot Valley beats Machias also 12-2. Mattanochcook over Sumner 11-1. And Dexter over Narraguagus 8-2. All right, let's go to the football field now. Patriots wrapping up optional OTAs this week before taking the weekend off. They open up their minicamp on Monday. One of the stories to watch for come minicamp has really been the story of the offseason. How is rookie quarterback Drake May assimilating to the NFL ranks? He was reportedly taking second-team reps behind Jacoby Brissett at OTAs, and both May and new offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt acknowledging and embracing that process.
Yeah, further ahead, I think just all the terminology, all the motions, all the different formations. I feel like I'm kind of getting a pretty good gist of it. Still work in progress, getting new installs in every day. But I feel like I'm, a smart kid, so trying to pick that up pretty fast.
He's been impressive. He's come out, he's, taken everything from the classroom, everything from our individual periods, and he's applying it into the team drills. He's been impressive so far.
All right, that is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
An official message from Medicare.
A new law is helping us save more money on prescription drugs. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, our drug premiums are 0 and our out-of-pocket costs are low.
I enrolled and I'm saving money. If you're single and make less than $23,000 a year or are a married couple making less than $31,000, you may qualify and save. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp.
I have prepared Thomas's breakfast for you to savor together.
Thanks, Tom. Hey, are English muffins from England?
Heavens no, they're from the pantry.
Are you from England?
Nay, I am also from the pantry. Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
Refine, your local expert in window and door installation, carpentry repairs, and commercial facilities management. At Refine, we're proud to offer Maine-made Paradigm windows crafted with care and precision to ensure quality and durability like no other. From quaint cottages to bustling businesses, let us refine your space with our signature Maine-made touch. Trust Refine to exceed your expectations every time. Contact us today and let Maine craftsmanship elevate your home or business. Rise with Refine.
I'm adding Downy Unstoppables to my wash. Now I'll be smelling fresh all day long. Still fresh.
so fresh.
Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection. Try for under $5.
Planet Oats so creamy and not watery like.
Exactly, and unsweetened has 0 grams of sugar.
And don't forget, it's an excellent source of calcium. Wow, Planet Oat really has it all.
You guys are so right.
No, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are. Yeah, you are.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm here with Eric and Zachary. They're part of the production of Penobscot Theater Company's latest show, Little Shop of Horrors. Guys, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So you have a great prop here. This is a story that a lot of people know about. Can you guys talk about who you're playing?
Yeah. So I'm playing Seymour Krelborn.
And I'm the voice of Audrey to the plant.
How does that work?
So I'm in the little sound booth with the pit with all the instruments, and I have a mic. And Thomas is the puppeteer, so we've worked a lot during the rehearsal process to match my acting choices through my voice with his puppeteering movements.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So it's a little different.
Yeah,
than
it's
your average production.
Yeah, this role specifically is a little bit more on the voice acting side, which is something new, so that's exciting.
Right, and the puppets are really cool. I love that you guys brought in an example for us. Who makes these?
So we got these from, I believe. No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know exactly who made these, but I believe we got these from Yukon.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Very professionally done.
Yes.
Do you guys have any favorite parts or things you're specifically looking forward to about this show?
I think, for me, the music is just so good. I think one of my favorite things to sing in the show is probably there's a dentist scene I get to sing with a sadistic dentist.
I remember,
and,
I know this story.
Quite intense, but it's really fun, yeah.
It's funny though.
Oh yeah.
It's a little spooky,
so
it's funny, it's dramatic. I think a lot of people love this story. There's been a couple remakes, or has there been 3 versions, at least in film?
There was an original film in 1960, and then the first stage production in 1982, and then they made it into the film in '87. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, okay, so the stage production is a little bit different than what you may expect in the film.
Exactly, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, when does it open?
Previews start on June 13th, and opening night is the 15th of June.
Coming right up. Are you guys putting final touches on the show?
Yes, we're in Tech Week right now, so yeah, it's been a very exciting process.
Good. Glad to hear. So where can people get tickets?
People can get tickets right at www.penobscottheater.org, or they can call the box office.
Easy enough, as always.
Yeah, as always.
All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Of course. We'll send it over to Devin Biggs for our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Happy Friday. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth, offering parts, sales, and full service repair on all trailers. The local Load Right authorized dealer. Stop by or call us today at 207-813-0007. Alrighty, here we go. Wave heights are a little bit active out there, depending on where you're at this morning. We have 3-foot wave heights just offshore, maybe a little bit lower further off towards the north and east from the buoys, and further down to the south, wave heights are at around 7 feet this morning. On land, here we go. Bangor to Bar Harbor, reduced visibilities. Even Millinocket noticing that this morning. Washington County is reduced, so if you're driving this morning, definitely take it slow. Allow extra time as needed with the areas of dense fog that has been developing. We also have clouds, and we also have showers tracking in from the west and going toward the east. So we're going to keep that going throughout the daytime period today with more showers possible overnight tonight and possibly tomorrow as well. With this energy here tracking from the southwest and going to the north and east, we'll be watching that as it does track ever so slowly to the north and east. So futurecast moving forward, we have the showers for today, and even later on tonight, notice the clouds and the showers will be holding on. Even for your Saturday, here we go, scattered showers, even some thunderstorms will be expected, not only for Saturday morning, but possibly a little bit more as we head towards the afternoon period, so be watchful for that. Then once we head towards Saturday night, there's some rain showers sticking around, but it looks like we start to catch a little bit of a break as we head towards early Sunday morning. As for the rainfall, I'm going to run this through the next few days, so we will have a good amount of rainfall on the way between now and Tuesday, maybe another inch to 2 inches of rain possible in some areas areas before we're all finished up between now and Tuesday, so it will be spread out as we do move forward in time. Average high temperature is 72 degrees. We'll do middle 60s for us today, lower 70s Saturday, Sunday, also into Monday. We're back in the mid 70s for you Tuesday, then upper 70s again Wednesday, and also into your Thursday. Let's talk about the dew points. Those have been up at least recently. We can feel it out there with dew points in the lower 60s today and tomorrow. But once we get towards Sunday and beyond, dew points will be a little bit more comfortable. So for today, middle 60s, mostly cloudy showers out there, and that east wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy, some showers and fog on the way. Lows in the middle 50s, and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms on the way, highest in the lower 70s, and that southwest wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's check out that extended forecast brought to you by Downey's Trailer Service in Ellsworth. More showers and thunderstorms on Sunday with highs in the low 70s. Low 70s again for Monday with a chance for showers, and more showers and thunderstorms Tuesday. We remain wet with highs in the mid 70s.
When you say let's go to breakfast, you mean let's go to McDonald's. Obviously.
Get 2 sausage McMuffin with egg or bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits for $4.50.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
While politicians talked, President Trump fought for working people. He took on China and secured the border. I'm Austin Terrio, former NASCAR driver and small business owner. I'm proud to have President Trump's endorsement. Together we'll secure the border, stop Biden's electric vehicle mandate, and bring back American manufacturing. I'll fight to make sure our best days are ahead.
Endorsed by President Trump. Austin Terrio for Congress.
I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
When you smell the amazing scent of Gain Flings, time stops. And you realize you're in love.
Steve!
With a laundry detergent. Gain Flings, seriously good scent.
People ask me all the time, are those commercials really true? Does Lowry and Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. We really have gotten millions of dollars for Mainers hurt by commercial vehicles. And the insurance companies know when you call the twos, we're gonna fight for you. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the twos. We win for you.
When My Mechanic Company wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. My Mechanic Company, located in Carmel, is your go-to for auto repair. Whether you need brakes, tires, diagnostics, or a state inspection, My Mechanic has you covered. Come see why My Mechanic should be your mechanic.
If you have to ask why it's important to start your day early, here's your answer.
Kick your morning routine into high gear with any sized iced coffee for just $1.99.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Mia Goth reprises one of her roles from the X-horror film, and Monster High gets a new adaptation.
Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has those stories and more in the Hollywood Nation.
I always wanted to be famous.
Maxine returns, Perry recruits, and Monster High heads to the big screen in the Hollywood Nation.
Welcome to Monster High.
The Monster High universe is expanding. Mattel will team up with Universal Pictures to develop a live-action movie. It will be an original story centering on the popular fashion dolls imagined as the children of legendary monsters. The toy line, launched in 2010, inspired a web series, video games, books, an animated series, and a live-action TV movie. Tyler Perry has lined up the cast for his upcoming Netflix film, Straw. Taraji P. Henson, Sherry Shepherd, and Tiana Taylor are among the stars who have joined the drama about a single mother who goes down an unexpected path after a series of unfortunate events. Perry will write, produce, and direct the project.
I can handle myself.
Mia Goth pursues fame in today's First Looks. The trailer for the final film in Ty West's horror trilogy, Maxine, features Goth reprising her role as aspiring actress and killer Maxine. The next chapter follows her in 1980s Hollywood, chasing her movie star dreams while being stalked by a serial killer. The threequel arrives in theaters July 5th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
They're big, they're loud, and they're in Herman this weekend. Friday, today, and tomorrow, all-star monster trucks will be performing at Speedway 95. And according to officials at the Speedway, this is a rain or shine event. Organizers say the event is great for families and kids of all ages.
You can find All-Star Monster Truck Tour in your city. I guarantee it would be the best decision you have made.
He guarantees it.
Guaranteed.
It sounds like a good guarantee to me.
A link to the tickets could be found under this story on our website, foxbangor.com.
We had some other footage of when they've come in past years, and it's so loud that it overmodulated the microphone.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you have younger kids, maybe give them some ear protection or
Good
something.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, though. I haven't been. I'd like to, though. Fun stuff. Are we out of time yet?
We got, real quick, let's
One
just
more.
show the picture.
One more. So it's almost time for the Special Olympics and Summer Games, and police departments are completing the Torch Run event to build excitement and awareness. They were running from Bath to Belfast
And
yesterday.
The games get underway today and will continue into the weekend.
Have a great weekend, folks.
Today on 25 Words or Less, he played, I want to say Charles in the High School Musical series? Chad. Yeah, if you say so, buddy. It's Corbin Blue. And joining Corbin are married couple Gabriella and, Chad, I knew that name from somewhere. Last time she was here, she nearly burnt down her trailer. And I have to say, I think she looks pretty good for someone who was forced to get ready in a porta potty. It's Angelique Cabral. Joining her are returning champions, childhood buddies Avery and Brooke. And now it's time to play 25 Words. And here's your host, Meredith Vieira.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Angelique, I don't remember that. You really did almost burn down the trailer?
I put something in the microwave
Yeah?
in the tin foil. Listen, I'm not a great cook. I had a momentary lapse. It wasn't a strong moment in my life, Meredith. I'm embarrassed by that. But yes,
Okay, well,
that
but
happened.
you learned a valuable lesson.
Sure did.